In today's video, we are going to take a look at the Aegis Tiburon. We are going to talk about what differentiates it from its cousin, the Aegis Hammerhead, and I'm going to take you on a tour to see how it flies, how it fights, and if it's pay to win. The Aegis Hammerhead and Aegis Tiburon are both large multi-crew combat ships from Aegis Dynamics, but they appear to serve different battlefield roles. The Hammerhead is a dedicated anti-fighter escort platform built around 6-man turrets and fleet screening duties, making it ideal for protecting larger capital ships or leading fighter groups with overwhelming defensive firepower. The Tiburon, meanwhile, is described as an evolution of the Hammerhead platform configured for anti-capital warfare, replacing some of the Hammerhead's traditional turret coverage with a massive forward-facing size 10 beam weapon and heavy side-mounted cannons, reportedly using size 7 guns. It is also equipped with 36 size 3 missiles that the pilot controls. In practical terms, the Hammerhead excels at area denial and sweating smaller ships, while the Tiburon looks designed to punch far above its weight against frigates and capital ships through concentrated forward firepower. Visually, the Tiburon also appears sleeker and more aggressive. When it comes to flight performance, the Tiburon definitely feels a little bit like a heavy warship. With a top speed of only 329 meters per second in afterburner, it is noticeably sluggish and lacks the agility you would expect from smaller combat ships, even some other large military vessels. Maneuvering takes commitment, acceleration feels slow, and changing direction in combat can be cumbersome, especially during close engagements. Also, fuel consumption is extremely high. I have noticed that at my own expense. During testing in Nyx, I was not able to complete a simple patrol mission before being forced to stop at the station to refuel, which really highlights how demanding the ship is on quantum and hydrogen reserves. This is clearly not a vessel designed for long independent deployments or sustained roaming without logistical support. Instead, the Tiburon feels much more like a fleet-based assault platform that operates alongside tankers, carriers, or nearby stations rather than something you could casually take out for extended solo operations. When it comes to combat, the Tiburon immediately shows both its strength and weaknesses. As I mentioned earlier, I took the ship out for a patrol mission, and the massive size 10 laser was especially useless against smaller targets. The weapon simply struggles to track agile ships, and even lining up shots becomes frustrating because of how slow both the ship and the gun feel during combat. Hitting light fighters consistently was extremely difficult, which made the entire mission feel far more tedious than it should have been. In the end, I abandoned the pilot seat and jumped into one of the large ballistic turrets instead. These remote turrets are actually one of the ship's best features because they allow you to stay safely inside the hull, meaning you are not instantly killed if the turret itself gets destroyed during combat. Once inside, the experience changed completely. Against those low-tier ships, the firepower felt absolutely excessive, with enemy targets exploding after only a few shots, but this time the overkill nature of it, the sheer destructive power was incredibly satisfying to use. So what about the massive laser itself? Well, after the patrol mission, I decided to take on a bounty contract from Intersect, where I was tasked with destroying a Mercury Star Runner. Unlike the smaller ships from the patrol mission, the MSR was obviously a much larger target and therefore significantly easier to hit, especially while using precision mode, which honestly feels like the ideal way to operate the size 10 beam weapon. In that situation, the laser finally started to make sense. I could clearly see the beam piercing through the shields and directly damaging the hull, but surprisingly the actual process of destroying the ship felt much slower than I expected, considering the sheer size and supposed power of the weapon. I've heard several rumors from players saying that the size 10 laser may actually be bugged and is apparently intended to be far more powerful than it currently is. Well, if you have any information about this, please let me know in the comment section down below. Visually though, the weapon is absolutely incredible. I especially love firing it from third-person view because seeing this gigantic straight beam instantly connect with a target at the speed of light is honestly one of the most satisfying visuals effect I have experienced in Star Citizen in a long time. But then the final question is the Tiburon pay to win? I do not think that the answer is that simple. On the one hand, the ship absolutely makes certain missions easier, especially when it comes to dealing with larger targets. Having access to that gigantic size 10 beam weapon, even if it is bugged here, and those devastating ballistic turrets gives you a level of firepower that most players simply cannot match in smaller ships. There is definitely here a feeling of raw dominance when you bring something like this into combat. However, the ship is also coming with some serious drawbacks that stop it from feeling completely overpowered. It is slow, it extremely is hungry, it consumes so much fuel, it's difficult to maneuver, and honestly, it's quite impractical for a solo player despite technically being flyable alone, as you can see in the footage. To really get the most out of the Tiburon, you need a crew, logistical support, and the right types of mission. Against smaller ships, the main laser can actually become a liability rather than an advantage, and even destroying something like a Mercury Star Runner took longer than expected, probably because of the bug. Still, at around $700, it is undeniably an expensive ship, and I completely understand why some people would look at it and feel a bit uncomfortable about the advantage that this amount of money can provide. In the end, I think that the ship doesn't feel that much of a magical I win button and more like a specialized fleet weapon that happens to be locked behind a very high price tag. As far as I'm concerned, I will pass, but I would not exclude buying it in-game at some point. Let me know what you guys think about the Aegis Tiburon. Did you pick one for yourself? Do you think it's pay to win? Are you going to pass? I would like to know your thoughts. Don't forget we have a giveaway this month. I'm giving away a Drake Golem OX, link in the description down below, as well as an Aura Mark II. Don't forget to comment to any videos posted this month and subscribe to get a chance of winning that one. Automatic entries for Patreon and YouTube members. I've been the Eradicator. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.